That's the good news. Or at least starting out, there will be no triangles hidden inside circles. Notice my keyword there was inside. Okay, I got 4 of the bell ringer. I got lots of options. How did you solve this? How can we solve this? Did you change it all to decimals? Did you get a common denominator? You all have junk written on your paper. Somebody tell me some math. What did you do? Okay, what was your common denominator? Okay. So that would be times 3. So times 3 would be 9 over 6. If I change this to a 6, that'd be times 2, times 2. That'd be an 8. Times 2, times 2. 4 over 6s. And then minus 30 over 6 reduces to 5. That's a great idea. Why is his idea better than using decimals? We just took a test. I counted off points. I guess this should show you a test and how I counted off. Why am I counting off points lately? What does your calculator do when you change things to decimals? Lord, it's going to be a Monday all day long. Starts with an R. Rounds. It rounds for you. There might be a rounding error if we change all this to decimals to begin with. Because Harrison is lazy. And for 2/3, he's going to put 0.67. He's not going to put 0.66666 and keep writing his 6's all the way out for forever. He's going to round to begin with. He shouldn't round till his final answer. So fractions would be better if they were our friends. I had a math teacher who always said fractions are her friends. Okay, 8 minus 30, because we're combining like terms. 8 minus 30 is negative 24. So that's not right. Negative 22. Negative 22 over 6 plus 4 6s. If I add 22 over 6 to both sides, because I'm trying to get that s piece all by itself. So if I add 22 over 6 to both sides, those cancel out, and I get 22 plus 9 is 31. So I have 31 over 6 equals 4 6s. It's a lot of fraction work today. How do I kill off the 4 6? Okay, we multiply both sides by the reciprocal, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 6 over 4. It's a lot of fun because not only do those cancel out, but the 6's also cancel out, so I end up with 31 over 4 equal to s. Now, if that was really that rough for you, Harrison could probably, if it's a standardized test, he could probably swap it all to decimals, work it out, and then pick which decimal is closest to that fraction. Because if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get some decimal almost 8. It's like 7 point something.
7.7.
Thank you, dear. Always there to save the day. Okay, for the next bell ringer, it seems much easier. You distributed the negative 4. You got 8q minus 32 equals negative 6q plus 18 times 6 plus 12q. I can combine some like terms. I have 8q minus 32 equals 6q plus 108. I would subtract 6q from both sides. Those do not cancel out. You get 2q minus 32 equals 108. If I add 32 to both sides.
Ms. Compton,
Yes, dear.
why'd you subtract 6q?
You could have added 32. It doesn't matter.
But it was a negative at first. The 6q.
12 minus 6 wouldn't that be positive
okay.
6?
Never mind.
Okay, so I got those cancel out. I got 2q equals 140. So q ends up equaling 70. I am lazy today, so I will not plug it in and check myself. But if I was trying to do well on a test at this point, I would take that number and plug it back into that original equation. Okay. Are there any questions about the belt ringer? Today is one of my favorite days. Hasn't been one of my favorite days in a long time. The last time I had a favorite day, we were back in chapter 8 because I really like trig. I'm like you, surface area, volume, it's okay. But this I like. Okay, so today we're going completely out of order. So it's not bad enough that we went 9, 11, 12, and then now we're back at chapter 10 finally, the chapter we've skipped all along. Not only are we went out of chapter order, we're also going out of section order. We're not going to start with 10.1. We're going to start with 10.8. Why are we starting with 10.8? Because I think it's the most important. My personal opinion, if Junior's only going to listen to me talk about circles one day, this is the one day he needs. This is it. Okay, so you've been graphing stuff your whole life. Can you please tell me the, what is this called? What's that called? Slope. Okay. Intercept, form. And what does that do? What is that? What does that do? It helps us graph a line. So, what do we know about the M? It's the obvious word. Tell me the word. What's the M for? Yeah, and what's the B for? The y-intercept. And you know instantly seeing that, like if I put y equals 3x plus 2, then the slope is 3 and the intercept's at 2. And you know exactly how to graph that line. Right? Circles have an equation that we're going to learn. And the second I see it, I know instantly how to graph a circle. Okay, so we need to know this equation for a circle because it's like this one. It should be one we instantly recognize. So it is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. That's the first thing we need to talk about today is the standard equation of a circle. Okay, you are smart. What does the r stand for in our equation? Of course, r is for the radius. What we don't know is what that h and k is for. But if we think about a circle and we want to graph it, we need to know, yes, we need to know that radius. But what else do we need to know about a circle in order to graph it? Yeah, where the middle is. Where is that middle? What we call that point inside the circle that's in the middle. Yeah, it's called the center. So what we're learning, that h and that k, it tells you where the center is. So our center is at h comma k. It's an ordered pair. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to go out of order because right now that looks ridiculous. You're like, I don't know, there's H's and K's and R's along with the normal X's and Y's, and it's comping, you've lost it. So let's look straight at, completely out of order. Let's go to number 6. If we look at number 6, and I'm going to write that standard form underneath since I can't make both of them show at the same time. We need to know, according to the directions, we need to know the radius and the center. So what is the radius of this circle? Is the radius 4? No, because it said it's exactly because it's r squared, so it's going to be the square root of whatever that number is. So for us, it's the square root of 4, which is 2. Good, Catherine. So again, whatever number they give you for the radius, like on number 7, the radius isn't 25. The radius is the square root of that, so it's going to end up being 5. So it sure is nice when we see those perfect squares. In fact, I'll go ahead and write the radius for number 7. Again, it's because that equation says r squared. It doesn't say x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r. It says equals r squared. So we have to take the square root of it to undo that squared. Okay, so I know my radius is 2. So if I ever get the center, graphing should be easy. But now to figure out that center, what's my ordered pair for the center of this circle? Is it -5, -6? I know it's a 5 and a 6. Now we're debating the signs. Should it be -5, -6? That's what Darren thinks, but Catherine thinks 5, 6. If we pay attention to that formula, that standard form, it's x minus h plus y minus k. So it really is the opposite sign, dear. Yes, dear. So our h, if we cover with the x minus, we know our h. Our h is 5. So it ends up being the opposite sign. So our center is at 5, 6. Okay, so if we look at our next one, where's the center of our next circle? Yes, it's -2, -1. And again, this all has to deal with that standard form. If we know the standard form of a circle, the way we know that's y-intercept form or slope-intercept form, we would realize, hey, it ends up being the opposite signs for the center, and the radius is the square root of whatever they give you. Okay, and now for the fun part. This is the easy part. So that's as hard as it gets for us today. We now need to graph this bad boy. So our center is at 5, 6. So over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my center. And since that radius is 2, I count out 2, up 2, I count down 2, I go right 2, I go left 2. I mean, I know every point other than that center, every point is 2 units away. Did I do that one? 2? I did that one 3, didn't I? Whoops. Okay, and now I'm very tempted to connect the dots and make it look like a kite. I know. I'm with you. I'm not very good at circling, but we've got to somehow connect the dots and try to make it circular. It's okay if yours looks more ovally like mine. I'll only be mad if yours looks like a kite when it's supposed to look like a circle. Are there any questions about that one? Now we go to our next one. We already found the radius. We already found the center. So now let's just graph it. It says center is at -2, -1. So there's my center. Once I have my center, it's easy to graph the rest of the circle because just count out that radius. Our radius is 5. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now again, I get it's very, very tempting to connect the dots like a kite, but we gotta try to be circular. If we were being really picky and we weren't in a rush and it wasn't already May 8th or whatever it is today, if it wasn't already May 8th, we would get out the protractors and draw these all nice and pretty, but we cannot. Okay, are there any questions about 6 or 7? Then let's back up to number 5. Hey, it's also really hard to see. If you graphed it in pencil, it's hard to see. So if you want to be colorful on your graphs right now, or especially on our next, whatever our test is, I would definitely understand because it's hard to read otherwise. Okay, we need to do number 5. What's wrong with number 5? What should we do first? Any thoughts? If we add that 4 to both sides, we would have x squared plus y squared equals 4. Now that's looking more like what we wanted. I at least know that radius. What is the radius of this circle? Square root of 4, which is 2. Good. And then, of course, not only was this one a complicated one because we had to rearrange the equation, but this one is a complicated one because of the center. Where is the center of this circle? It is. It's at the origin. Good. So if yours just can't stand it, what they really have is x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equal to 4 squared. Equal to 4, sorry. So Kevin's right. The center's at 0, 0. They're just not writing the zeros because that's silly. So if you ever see another confusing one, more than likely the center is at 0. So put our center at 0. Our radius is 2, so up 2, over 2, 2, down 2. We connect the dots as best we can. Circle. Okay, I know you can read, and it says that you're supposed to have some homework today. It's actually at the bottom of this paper. It's 7 through 10 you now know how to do. 7 through 10 will be easy peasy. You only have to graph 7 and 8. And I knew you were going to have this debate about I don't have graph paper or whatever. So there are graphs on the back of your notes for you to graph them on. If you want to graph more than just 7 and 8, it's always a good idea. We're not done. Flip back to the front. We're not done. I just wanted you to know, like, this is going to be an easy day. Okay. We can get through these easy peasy as well. So we need to write our own equation for 1 through 4. So now we're doing it reversed. 5 through 7, they gave us the equation. We had to interpret the radius in the center. Now we're given the radius in the center, and we need to write the equation. So if I know my center is at the origin, which is 0, 0, shouldn't I have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equal to r squared, so 10 squared? Is there anyone confused on that blue line? So if we kept going, well, I'm not going to subtract 0. That's silly. So I actually have x squared plus y squared equals 100. When we clean it up, this is what we get. I'm not mad at Harrison for stopping here, but he needs to clean it up and make it look a little prettier. Okay, that was number 1. Now for number 2. It says the center, and I'm going to write that standard form each time because it helps me. It says the center is at 4, 1, negative 1. Okay, so I know it's x, I know it's y. I need help with the h, the k, and the r. What should I put in that first slot for the h? So it should be x minus 4 squared. And then for the y, it should be, is it y minus 1 squared? It ends up being the opposite sign, so it's plus 1. And then, should I put 8 squared here at the end? Why? What'd they give you? So what's the radius? The radius is 4 because it's half, so it's 4 squared, which is 16. Yes, so if you want to go straight to like Gage does, he's just like, let's just get the answer, Miss Compton. Okay, let's go straight to the 16. Are there any questions on that second example? Well, let's do it again. So we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Yes, I do expect Harrison to learn this standard form. It's like y equals mx plus b. He's got to be able to recognize it. Okay, let's start with the easy part. What should I plug in for the r? Oh, don't overthink it, Kevin. It actually gave us the radius this time. Okay, what should I plug in for the h? What should I do with the k? It should be the opposite sign, so it's plus 2 and minus 4. Are there any questions about that? Then we've got one last one, and I'm just going to put it below because I'm out of room on the right. What should I plug in for my h? What should I plug in for my k? What should I plug in for my r? What's h? It's just, yeah, because it's a minus 0. So I'm telling you, h is going to go straight to the answer every time. So it's just x squared. What about the y? So I'll do y minus 3 squared. And then what about the r? Yes, because you can't do 10 because that's the diameter. So the radius is 5. So I need to do 5 squared. So I'm surprised you didn't go straight to the 25. Okay, are there any questions about this? So today we've learned, we learned how to graph it, but more importantly, we learned how to go from the center and the radius to the equation, or how to go from the equation to the center and the radius. This you will need for Algebra 2 with trig, and this would be on a standardized test. So if there's one thing I beg you to not forget about circles, it's this. Okay, you have problems at the bottom to work. I've got a ton of junk to pass back to you, including some tests.